so glad that you joined me today. I'm really excited for this.
Happy to
So,
be here.
so from instructor and course designer to a legal intern and a student defender, you have a vast range of skills and talents, clearly. Go more into detail, just an overview of who you are.
Oh, sure. There's one thing I would say, like the little cornerstone, and as cliche as it is, I want to say the biggest thing, inside is, protecting those and what I care about. Um, as a student defender, I got to kind of help other students through a really stressful process of, being accused of academic dishonesty or student conduct matters, like drinking or smoking in the dorms. Um, and, a lot of times, wrong place, wrong time. And it's really, really stressful. You've so much going on as a student. So it's really important to kind of just keep your zen, make sure you're, balancing everything. Um, and honestly, the course instructor thing, that was really just a passion project. My head popped off my pillow one day, and I was like, it would be a really fun class that I would totally want to take. And I had the idea for a political comedy course, so I spent a year researching, working with faculty from all over the country, some people in, grad school, some people who are instructors in law schools, um, and just kind of brought a course together and pitched it to the department, and it was a lot of fun getting to poke and prod at everyone. That's me. I'm here. I'm just, especially with what I do here for work, in just I'm protecting ideas. I'm protecting people's creative interests, and helping to kind of enforce their intellectual property. And it's really, really important to me. People work really, really hard for their businesses. People work really, really hard to come up with these inventions and ideas and brands, and they pour their whole lives into it. And to have something come in that's just a cheap knockoff, and to heavily diminish all that effort is just heartbreaking.
Mhm. It is. It really is. That's incredible. I guess student defender, I didn't really put the two and two together. I didn't realize that you were defending like the actual students, like for cases like that. That's incredible. Um, that's honestly not something I've heard of. So super interesting. And
Not all schools offer something like that,
hmm,
but I'm just very thankful that University of Maryland offered a program like that, because it's both helpful to the students, who they now don't have to pay to retain an attorney who may not be
right.
familiar with the process, but also as the defender, it gives me a ton of experience. It's like, you know, like being like a kiddie public defender, you know?
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
Very rewarding experience. I can
Yeah,
attest to
I'm
that.
so sure. On your LinkedIn, you mentioned that you were both a business director and a bass singer for an incredible a cappella group. Is it Faux Paz? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
You nailed it.
Can
Perfect.
you tell us more about that experience and how it may or may not be connected to the famous movie Pitch Perfect?
Of course. So, Pitch Perfect, the movie, was made to promote. I don't know if it was made to promote it, but it was, it mentions the ICCAs. I think the acronym is basically it's just the International Collegiate A Cappella Competition. Groups from all over the world compete, and it's a big spectacle. So the group I joined, the spring of my freshman year, um, we did the competition. It was over COVID, so it was a little hard, but we recorded a music video in our basements, making sure everything was done with social distancing and all the guidelines were followed. But um, it was just an amazing experience. We ended up winning that competition in 2021 internationally, and
Wow.
while we couldn't be on stage that year, they invited us back the next year to perform, which was a lot of fun. We got our moment with the trophy, and it was
Oh my
just it
goodness.
was a really sweet experience. And it's put on by Varsity Vocals. They have a lot of really fun stuff. But kind of how that ties into what we do at QTI is, again, it's art. We put out albums. We work really hard to, maintain a brand, and it would be such a shame if someone started, like, stealing our music, or
Yeah.
you know stealing all that, and that's awful. And a lot of the people in my group are, going out to pursue music and art professionally, and it's a really, kind of harsh industry for a lot
Mhm.
of people. A lot can be very scary and overwhelming at times, and part of what I want to do in my career is to be able to, outside of entrepreneurs and businesses, help artists to kind of guide them through scary legal processes and protect their brand and just help out with, their creative interests and creations.
That's incredible. And honestly, I think it's even more incredible that you won during COVID because that was probably extremely difficult, to film that video and to practice and everything. Um, so
The
that's
hardest part was the fact that I am so far from what anyone could be considered a dancer. That was tricky, but that's more of a me problem than anyone else's.
oh my gosh.
Shout out to the people who choreographed me. They did an amazing
Oh
job
yeah. Oh yeah. Props to them.
getting me to not look funny.
Is
But
this video online anywhere? Can we find it?
it absolutely it is on YouTube.
Great.
We released our 10th studio album called Afterparty, which is streaming on all platforms, which
Okay.
is it's a good listen. We have a bunch of other awesome albums, and we have stuff in the works.
Oh my gosh.
No
Okay.
names or anything yet, but it's a lot of fun. We have a good time.
Mhm.
Like they're my second family even to this day. We all talk every day.
Oh my gosh.
Um, I still go and see their concerts and
That's
stuff even
awesome.
after I've graduated.
That's incredible. I'll definitely link all the
Cool.
music videos, everything in the description box down below.
Very cool.
Moving on from music, what piqued your interest in government and politics?
That's a great question. Um, well, University of Maryland didn't have a political science degree, but um, I think the proximity to DC and some of the coursework to kind of help prepare students for work in DC is kind of where the government uh, came in. But honestly, I knew I wanted to do law coming into undergrad, and I thought that would be the closest related major that had coursework that, was in, they offer like legal courses, like intro kind of stuff. One of my classes was like, your first year of law school in a semester, and it's like a brief overview on the first things you learn your first year of law school: property, contracts, civil procedure, all that fun stuff, criminal law, some criminal procedure. That was kind of what piqued my interest there, and they offered, constitutional law courses. I knew I was interested in TAing, um, other teaching stuff as well, so I got the opportunity to TA for a bunch of courses in there, and um, it was a great time. I loved my instructors. I'm still like in touch with a lot of them today. I see them like they'll like post on my LinkedIn and stuff. They're really
Oh,
amazing, amazing education.
that's incredible. Yeah, I think I don't think a lot of students realize how important the like relationship between the professors is.
Hmm.
Like you can actually build a friendship with them, and that's something I've realized
Absolutely.
like later in my school career. It's really important, and that's a connection that you'll keep forever. So,
Absolutely. Office hours are the most underrated thing. I know everyone like preaches it at the beginning of the semester and then
yeah.
like doesn't really end up happening, but taking advantage of that was just so amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Take advantage of those office hours students.
Hmm.
Can you share your biggest challenge, career or school-wise, that you've overcome thus far?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, there's quite a bit of stuff that has stumped me at times, but honestly, I'd have to say the biggest one was preparing for my law school applications, doing the LSAT. If anyone has seen Legally Blonde, Elle Woods has the line, like it was hard. Well, I watched that before I took my LSAT, and that made me feel a little bit better. Elle Woods misguided me horribly. It was very hard. Um, I was on a bit of a crunch time frame due to some life circumstances. So I really only studied for that exam for maybe 2 months, 2.5 months, where a lot of my friends did it for 6 months or a year.
Wow.
So I did a self-paced course and just kind of cramming all that information into your brain while I'm already someone who performs better with longer form like essays or projects than like exams.
Right.
Um, it was a hard test. Studying for it really took a lot out of me. And my biggest kind of advice for anyone who's studying for any of those, grad exams, whether it be the MCAT, the GMAT, the LSAT, um, take more time. Don't do what I did. I made a mistake. It worked out, and of course, just know that everything will work out. But
Yeah.
do not make the mistake that I made.
So you passed in the first try?
It's score based, kind of like the SAT, ACT.
Okay.
So luckily, I got a score that was where I needed to be for the schools I wanted to apply to. Thank
Okay.
goodness. Um, but if I had more time, I definitely think I would have taken advantage of that.
Yeah. That's incredible though. I like love Suits. That's one of my favorite shows ever. Um,
And I still need to start Suits, but
it's
for
so
my
good.
friends who are currently in med school and have already seen Grey's Anatomy,
Yeah.
their advice to me was watch it before you go to school and enter the career because it will ruin it. Um,
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
so I need to get on Suits so I can fully enjoy it before I
Yeah.
can become a skeptic.
Yes, definitely put that on your list of shows. It's really good. Moving on a little bit from that, you are QTI's newest legal consultant. Congratulations,
Thank you.
of course. Why is the work that QTI AI is doing for small businesses and artists important to you?
Oh gosh, it is very, very important to me. It's kind of the bread and butter of what I want to end up doing for my career. One of my friends who's already a little bit ahead of me in school and in the field, um, basically had a job doing what QTI does, um, not to the same capacity, of course. So when I met Will and Cheryl, I was so excited. I had to hear about everything. I first, found out about QTI because uh, one of my friends works for one of the businesses that's a client, and he was showing me the interface and all the work it's doing. He's like, "Hey, well, you're wanting to do intellectual property and stuff. Check out this awesome stuff that I get to work with." And I just found it so fascinating, so cutting edge, um, and just the amount of people that QTI gets to help. It just sheer volume for their clients
Mhm.
is just so like bewilderingly incredible. Um, and I want to do similar work to this in law school. There's a clinic that I'm hoping that I'll get accepted into where we also help entrepreneurs with more of the registration type stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but it's really cool that with QTI, I get to firsthand see the enforcement arm of a lot of the work that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said this before and I've said it again. I feel like I'm making a difference every time I work
Mm,
on anything QTI related, and it's so important to me. And it's become more important to me throughout the time I've been working for QTI. So I love it and I think it's just incredible and I want to get the word out to absolutely everyone.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely it's definitely just an amazing place to be. Everyone on the team is so friendly and so just terrific to work with. Um, I I like strapped for words. It's been such an amazing experience, and even in just the couple of weeks that I've been here.
Yeah. That's great. I am so glad to hear that. And we are just beginning. It was
Hmm.
just the beginning. Is there any other final words of wisdom that you would like to leave with our listeners?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, first, that I mean, from what I've seen, firsthand, QTI is really just doing everything in their power to empower the brands that they protect and the small businesses, We're starting to get into some awesome advocacy efforts. And the kind of final thing I want to push is your ideas and your creations are incredibly important. Register your intellectual property, protect yourself. It will be worth it. I know it's a pain, and I know registering stuff is a pain, but it is worth it. Uh, I'm not a lawyer, and this is not legal advice, but register your intellectual property.
I second that. Absolutely.